That was what Kathleen Kennedy said, the directors of the Han Solo film.
But we are live.
Supposedly, it's a cordial party.
Supposedly, but we'll see.
The video was quite cordial, if you think about it.
What do you want? I'd like to live just long enough to be there when they cut off your head and stick it on a pike as a warning to the next 10 generations that some favors come with too high a price. I want to look up into your lifeless eyes and wave like this.
Woof.
Dark.
That is dark.
Well, it's a good series, and there's very dark parts in it.
Very dark parts. I do like the
Dark
wave
parts.
though. But guess that would
He's a
be
man of his word.
our goodbye to Stephen first.
Because we're nerds.
We'll miss you because we're nerds, and we're gonna run the opening credits and that beautiful bean footage as it would be. No rude noises, please. You just know that dog is worst farts. All he does is eat beans all day in those stupid commercials. But
The following podcast is
aside from
intended
beautiful
for mature
footage, we'll be right
audiences.
back.
The opinions expressed do not reflect this station
What's going
or
on?
any affiliated partners.
I don't know.
Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek Easy.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about?
It's about nothing.
And here we are. Another Wednesday, another week that Jim Bray is us with his presence.
Just some,
And
notice-
Jody.
Jody's here too.
Yeah, just know something about the show. Did you
Yes.
use a video with Gangnam Style?
Yes.
I thought so. I was like, I thought that's
Yes.
like, wait a minute.
It's the Empire Strikes Back Gundam style. It's where he's going by where Boba Fett normally is. And Luke is coming
I
around the
remember that
corner.
video.
Yes. There's a whole lot of stuff in there that if you don't, I mean, it's there, it's hidden. Little tiny funny things.
I like it.
Oh, but where to start? Should I just start? Should I just go off?
Oh, well, we
I'm
already
gonna
started
go.
off
Go
on a
off,
happy
go
note.
off.
All right,
I'm
children.
going off.
Sit
Do
down.
it.
Papa Adam here is going to tell you about his adventures in Bayland, seeing
it's your
the last
story.
night.
Yes, because I did. I took one for the team, as it would be. Preface this. I am a Transformers fan from day one. 1984, I was there for the first airing of More Than Meets the Eye. I sat there as an 11-year-old child, drool hanging out of my mouth at the end of the show because I had just witnessed probably what was the greatest cartoon to ever grace my eyeballs, ever. And I was hooked from there on out. And then Michael Bay came along. He made a Transformers movie. And while it wasn't great, it's watchable. Doesn't have repeat viewing as much as I'd like it to, but there's stuff in there. It's like, okay, it's a Michael Bay movie. Then he made another one. Even he apologized for it. Then he made another one. And then he said he was done. And then he came back and made another one. And you know what? He just made another one and he says, "Well, I'm done. I'm not going to come back. I'm leaving the franchise." Mr. Bay, you should have stopped 4 movies ago, because I want the 2 hours and 29 minutes that I sat in that movie theater wondering what the hell was going on back. This film was written, or the story is by Akiva Goldman, who needs to stop being hired in Hollywood. This is the man responsible for Batman and Robin, for Insurgent, and a few other extreme flops in Hollywood, yet he still keeps getting work, and for some reason people keep going to his films. I'm pretty sure that the story was written down on index cards and set into a room full of spider monkeys and a bucket full of crap, and whatever index cards got hit with crap were then stapled together in a random order and made into a script. Because ain't nothing about this movie that makes any sense. They've been hyping this film with this little girl, Isabella, who features prominently in the commercials. And look, we got this little kid, and she's all badass and all that kind of stuff. She's in the film for 15 minutes, and she's only there to introduce Squeaks, who is pivotal to the end of the film. She could literally be written out of the film, or not have been written at all, and it would change absolutely nothing, because they could have introduced Squeaks the same way they did. It's just she didn't have to be there. So that poor girl is getting hyped up. It's like, oh yeah. Let's see. Every geeky trope from movies for the past decade, whether it be superhero, science fiction, is thrown into this film for no good reason. And now we have King Arthur in it as well, which doesn't make any sense, makes no lick of sense, because it kind of negates some of the other stuff we've known about Transformers that they've seen in the other films. Even though they're all supposed to be one cohesive story, it doesn't completely nullify them, but it seems to ignore a little bit of the stuff they've already established. The biggest one would be the terraforming of Earth in the prehistoric era that happened in the first film, or the fourth film. That was the fourth film, right? Where they were robotizing something, where that metal they were looking for transformium or whatever it was.
I stopped watching after the second movie.
They made a big deal about it. That it was like, oh, they were terraforming. The robots were terraforming this planet. It makes no sense because this is a huge spoiler for the film. They stole directly from one of the cartoons. Earth is actually Unicron, and has been from the beginning. Why would you try to terraform a planet that was already alive? So there's that. Then there's Mark Wahlberg, who really didn't want to be there, and it showed. Is it Duhamel? How do you say his name? Josh Duhamel? I'm pretty sure he just needed the paycheck. Dumel? Is it Dumel? He just needed the paycheck. So. And you know what? I like the guy. I think he's one of the more. I don't know. He just fits in the world. He just. Pulls off his character well. We're losing things.
Yeah, you got quiet for a second.
I'm sorry. My microphone.
We thought you dropped.
And Teletran also flickered.
Did he? Oh well, it's the internet here. It happens. Oh yep, we had a little quick flicker. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, and then there is Sir. Oh God, I can't even. I almost said Sir Alec Guinness.
Sir Anthony, I got paid.
Yes,
a
Sir
buttload
Anthony
of money to be in
Hopkins.
this movie. Hopkins.
No, I'm pretty sure he lost that. I'm thinking it was he lost a bet, and there's like, I bet you blah blah blah, and if you lose the bet, you got to be in a Transformers movie, and that was what happened, because even though he is the only high point in this film because he's Anthony Hopkins, it's just the whole story makes no sense. The convenience of everything is ridiculous. There was so much. I mean, nothing made sense. It really didn't. It was like, okay, the Arthurian legend is that Merlin's staff, that was all magical. Merlin's a charlatan. He doesn't have any real powers. All his powers come from the staff given to him by the 12 knights from Cybertron that landed on Earth back in whenever, which I thought they landed on Earth back in the prehistoric era, according to one of the other films. But now, nope, they're somewhere in the middle of England during the Middle Ages. They keep landing. Well, it's the same 12, I thought.
Because they primes.
Okay, well, whatever these knights were they left Cybertron because they betrayed Tessa, who is supposedly now they introduced the maker of the Transformers, and it's a female Quintesson ripoff kind of thing. They just used the name Quintessa, said, hey, that was kind of cool from the old cartoons. Let's do something that sounds like it looks and acts like nothing like them. Then, okay, so you're in the past. Merlin gets the staff. That's how he beats everybody. The 12 knights or whatever it is combine into one giant dragon. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now we shoot to the future. The staff is now wanted by Megatron. Barricade, who I'm pretty sure died in the first film, is back for some reason.
You got better.
I mean, I think did not Barricade's head get sliced off by Optimus Prime in the first film, the cop car?
Yep.
I could have sworn. Yeah, he's back. Obviously, you get your head cut off and you can come back, even though they've made point to say they're really dead when their heads come off. But he's back, and him and Megatron are talking. The government catches wind because there is now anti-Transformer task force that is multinational because Transformers are illegal on this planet, and they don't want them here anymore. And if you see a Transformer, you have to report it, and it's neither here nor there.
Barricade.
I see a social message.
I see. He's been in Dark of the Moon, and he was also in the Age of Extinction.
Oh, okay. Either way, I thought he died in the first one. But Starscream's the only one that actually appeared, and he's dead. You find his head. Okay, so you got this anti-task force, and Cade, who went from and Mark Wahlberg's character. He was an inventor, and now he's a freedom fighter for the Transformers. He is on the lam. He's aiding and abetting the Transformers. Therefore, the government wants him, and he's like numero uno on their hit list for humans. And he's hiding in a junkyard in the middle of the Southwest somewhere, with all the Autobots and the Dinobots and their baby Dinobots for some reason. They don't say where they came from. They're just baby Dinobots. Everybody, let's see. The humans make a deal with Megatron. Don't ask me why, because it just sounds good, I guess. I mean, the same guy that destroyed Chicago? Sure, let's make a deal with this guy because we want that staff, and we're going to take it before Megatron can get it, because we've always been able to stop him before, and without the help of the Autobots and Optimus Prime. Oh, wait, that never happened. So, there's that. So, they tell him where Cade is, because they know where he is, because they track Bumblebee back to this place.
I'm already confused.
Bumblebee now has a new power. He can fall apart into tiny little pieces. Am I roboting? Did I robot out?
No, we're just confused.
Oh, okay. We're confused. Okay. Beginning of the movie starts off with Anthony Hopkins giving you with a voiceover, telling you all about the Arthur legend and where the Transformers fit into it. Keep that in mind because that's important.
At which
We
point?
then shoot to the future, or the point of the Arthur legend, and Anthony Hopkins explaining it. Anthony Hopkins, the character he plays, explaining why the Transformers and the Arthur legend combine, which is that the Transformers gave Merlin the staff, which is what powered Arthur's role. If that's what and the staff belongs to Quintessa. Remember that. So now we come to the present. Parts of Chicago are a no human zone. It's a Transformer zone only, and they're hunting the Transformers in there. This task force. Josh Duhamel's character is undercover, still working for the U.S. government, but undercover with these guys and still reporting back to the general from the other films. So he's in there with them. Enter the little girl. She's been living in here because her family was killed during the Chicago whatever thing, and she's been an orphan all this time, and she's been helping Autobots here and there, and being helped by the Autobots here and there that are in this no human zone, dead zone, no man's land kind of place that's basically just, it looks like Beirut from the photos, the kind of thing. Everything's all blown up and destroyed. So some kids break in. She has to save them because the drones that look like Ed 209s go after them. Because one of the Autobots stands up. She calls him Cover or whatever, Canopy. Well, he comes and goes real quick. They put a hole in him within seconds of him appearing. He's gone, so it's like, okay, what was the point of even introducing this character? So we meet this little girl, Isabel. She has this little Transformer that she's been putting back together. He's kind of like, he looks like a GoBot more than a Transformer. He's just tiny bits and parts of things put together. He's important too, later on in the film. Isabel
Adam,
then gets yes.
the thing that looks like Ed, does it actually kind of look like that?
Hold on one second. Close.
Is that
They're very
somebody's
close.
weird fetishized Metal Gear?
That
No.
is a gecko from Metal Gear Solid 4.
Kind of.
Oh, it's a real thing? I thought it was somebody's weird
Nope.
fetishized Metal Gear.
Nope.
No.
No,
It's
it's a real
using
thing.
mechanical.
Well, they're very similar to that. They're like a cross between
What
that
the
and
actual
209.
hell?
Yes.
It's a Metal Gear thing. Just move
Somebody
on.
want to post that link in the chat? Because I don't have it up on the screen.
I don't know that I want that link anywhere near my computer anymore.
Okay, there you go.
It's a Metal Gear thing. Get over it.
Okay. Okay, so Cade appears out of nowhere to help this girl because she's now being hunted by the Anti-Transformer League or whatever it is, and he's numero uno on the list. Helps the kids escape
Cobra?
from this no man's land. Yeah, basically kind of thing. And he takes off, but they tag Bumblebee, and he goes back to his place. And then there's the whole talk about the humans working with Megatron. And then we go, and they're like, "Okay, we're working with Megatron." And Josh Duhamel's like, "Are you kidding me? This guy like killed millions of people, and you're gonna work with him? Oh, well, the government thinks it's okay, so it's all right." So they make the deal with Megatron to release a whole bunch of Decepticons that they have in custody, kind of thing. And they do. They release a bunch of them. They introduce one that never even sees the thing. He gets like a 2-second cameo, and he's probably the coolest Decepticon they've ever shown on screen. But because his name is Berserker, they don't let him out. He's kind of like the Hannibal Lecter of Decepticons. No pun intended. They actually do the Hannibal Lecter thing where he's all tied up and the mask on his face and everything. Little homage there, I guess, to Anthony Hopkins. So the government tells Megatron where Cade is because Cade. Oh, I forgot. I gotta go back. Sorry. Cade is now in possession. I forgot something. There was a ship that crashed in the no human zone, and it contained a very old Autobot who had a amulet that he gave to Cade, and the amulet attaches itself to Cade's body. Okay, so they want this amulet because it's the key to finding the staff for some reason. They never really explained that, even though they say it is, but it's never explained anymore as to how come it tells you where the staff is when it never really does. Big battle, Michael Bay style, explosions, Dinobots flying everywhere, and that's the last time you see the Dinobots. Big battle, Dinobots look really cool. What's his name? Grimlock is shooting fire and blowing things all over the place. Humans go flying, and then the Dinobots just disappear for the rest of the film, and I'm still trying to figure out what happened to them. That's one of the problems with this movie, was the Dinobots just disappear. Cade, this girl goes back with Cade to his place, even though she stows away in Bumblebee. Cade has a big heart. He keeps her there. And her part of the story is basically over because when all the crap goes down, she gets left behind, and Cade goes to England because Anthony Hopkins has sent his Cybertronian butler, who has been a butler for his family for the past 700 years, to pick up Cade. Even though Cade is in the middle of being chased by the government, they have time to have a 5-minute conversation with nobody shooting at them, and Bumblebee and Cade go to England. Enter...
Bumblebee and Cade go to England. Sounds like a buddy cop movie.
Yes. So now they're on their way to England. All the other Autobots are looking for a spaceship. Steve Buscemi has a little cameo in that whole scenario as well as a arms dealer / junk dealer Autobot that floats around finding things. And supposedly he found a voice box for Bumblebee. It doesn't work because it's a female voice, and Bumblebee is all pissed off. Okay. They go to England. Optimus Prime is shown in outer space. He somehow finds his way, even though he's frozen and not moving, he finds his way to Cybertron. Quintessa finds him and brainwashes him that
Wait. Are we only in the first 15 minutes of the film?
No, we're probably about 45 minutes into the film already. Okay, now, remember, we've now lost the Dinobots and the little girl. And now we're with Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime turns bad. That's all you need to know. Optimus Prime turns bad, and that's all you see. Trailers. Yes, Optimus Prime turns bad. She watches him. He's bad guy. Go back to England. You find out that the woman who plays Star-Lord's mom, what's her name now? Laura Haddock. I can't remember the character's name. Vivian something. She's an Oxford professor who just happens to be teaching about King Arthur and myths and stuff like that of Old England. Convenience, of course. Her car is a transformer that's been around for a while. It's Hot Rod, and he looks like an old 1960s. I'm pretty sure it's an Aston Martin or something. I don't know. He changes into a Lamborghini because reasons. Brings and now Anthony Hopkins sends Hot Rod to go get her as well. Anthony Hopkins is an earl of something or other that is part of a secret society that has been hiding the secret of the Transformers since the days of Arthur. The secret society. This is where This is no. This is where it jumps the shark completely for me. It was like, are you kidding me? You couldn't come up with anything else. They're the Witwickens, and they've been around for 700 years, and they actually show a picture of Shia LaBeouf as the last of the Witwickens to yes. So you couldn't even come up with a cool name. You used the last name of a character that you had in the first three films and tried to explain it away that his last name is actually an allegory to the Witwickens. Don't get me started.
Feel witless.
Yes. This girl, the Oxford professor's father, was also one of them, and he also was dealing with Arthurian legends and stuff like that. And you come to find out, she's the last surviving descendant of Merlin. Again, convenient that she not only teaches this, but she's also, she knows she's steeped in mythology of England and stuff, but she also happens to be the last descendant of Merlin, and only her DNA, because Merlin's DNA merged with the staff, can open the staff and use it. So now she's along for the ride. More crap happens in there. You find out that there's a submarine that's also a transformer from World War II. You find out Bumblebee was in World War II and actually met Anthony Hopkins when he was a boy. Hot Rod was in World War II, killing Nazis. Don't ask me. Don't. It just all over the place. It made no sense. And remember how I said the movie opened with Anthony Hopkins giving you this whole spiel about what happened? Michael Bay thinks we're all idiots because he makes him do it again in the middle of the film as if to remind us that the film we're watching, Transformers: The Last Knight, is about the Knights of the Round Table, because we might have forgotten that if he didn't keep reminding us at least every 25, 30 minutes throughout the film. So we're idiots. And the lowest common denominator is always played to in Michael Bay's films because enter Laura Haddock. The woman is beautiful. She is a very beautiful woman. And Michael Bay felt the need to constantly frame her from mid-nipple to her forehead the entire time from an overhead shot looking down her shirt and then spraying her with water so she glistened. So it doesn't matter what she said. Nobody was paying attention to her. She's coming across as this Oxford. She's all smart and very, very, very sophisticated, but it's like you're not supposed to be listening to her. Just look at her boobies. That's the whole every scene she's in. Every scene she's in doesn't matter what.
By this, are we? Because it's a Michael Bay film.
It's Michael Bay. Michael Bay has. It's like
Michael Bay films are all boobies and explosions, man.
Yes, boobies and explosions. Okay, so and then they force a relationship between Cade. They keep making it that her parents or her family is all about her finding a boyfriend, and Cade has mentioned that he hasn't had a girlfriend in a while, and his daughter has made mention of it, even though she's not in the film and he can't really talk to her. He listens to her, or she talks to him on the phone once because he can't talk back, or they can trace him on the satellite phones or something stupid. Okay, so they're forcing this relationship. There's no chemistry between these two. It's like mixing like mayonnaise and mayonnaise. It's bland, and they just don't. There's nothing. It's like nope, nothing. They look like they don't like each other throughout the entire thing, even when they're trying to hook up. It's like I don't get it.
So they have this "I smelt a turd" kind of look on their face.
Yeah. It's just like there's nothing, no chemistry whatsoever. Even though they're forcing this romantic relationship in the middle of all this. So Anthony Hopkins also explains that the amulet on Cade's arm chose him because he is now considered the last knight. That's where the last knight comes in. So he was chosen. He was chosen. No other human on the planet was chosen. It could have been Sam. It could have been anybody, but he was chosen. It's just all over the place. Then, for no reason, they know Cybertron's on its way. They all of a sudden we go back to NASA and the governments are freaking out because the deep space stuff has alerted them to Cybertron heading towards Earth, and will be there in goes from 2 days all the way to like when it hits, like 12 hours or whatever it is. And once they find this out, all of a sudden these giant horns start appearing out of the Earth. Metal alien horns. Unicron. This is what I mean. Instantly you know what it is. The horns are showing out of Earth, and they didn't even have to say it, and I knew where they were going with it. And then they finally did say it. I was like, are you kidding me? Really? Let's see, who else returns for... Turturro shows back up in his ridiculous 7, whatever it was, Sector 7 role. He's living in Cuba, which is the only bastion for Transformers because they seem to like Transformers down in Cuba. But he's living in Cuba with the Transformers down there, but he's trying to get into being a Witwicken, and he keeps calling Anthony Hopkins, and Hopkins keeps telling him no, until he comes up with some information Hopkins didn't know about, which is some book in a library that has the location as to where it's all going to go down, where Ground Zero will be when the two worlds collide. Which was all prophesied 700 years ago or something stupid. Which is, take a wild guess in England
Stonehenge.
where it's going to be. Just a stab. Oh, there you go. Boom. See? Tropes. Stonehenge. So now everybody has to converge on
I
Stonehenge.
need a drink.
Yes.
And we're not
This
even
is what
done
I'm
yet,
talking
and I
about.
need a drink.
This is ridiculous. Stonehenge. They are yes.
There is yelling.
This
in the
Vanessa
background.
chick.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. This Vanessa chick is the only one who can activate the staff, which is the power source that will cause all of this. So, of course, she now has to go to Cybertron to get the staff because Megatron brought it back. Or Megatron got the staff. They find it down underwater. I forgot to say it. They go down underwater in this submarine. That's a transformer
Submarine.
from World War II. They go down to this ancient ship that just happens to be the ship of the guys that crashed 700 years ago. How it got underwater, I don't know. The knights are there. The staff is there. Merlin's grave is there. He's buried underwater in the middle of this giant ship. And the staff, they open up Merlin's thing, and he's just holding this wooden stick. Any idiot who's ever seen a science fiction film
Breaking up.
that wooden stick is actually the weapon when you've explained that only one person can act. Better? Can you hear me?
Seems to be holding.
Okay. Right. They've told you that this Vanessa chick is the only one who can activate the staff because her DNA stems from Merlin. Open this casket, open the thing, Merlin's dead body is there, and the staff is just a big wooden stick. They throw it away. Cade gets all ticked off. Oh, I thought it was going to be something special. Now, if you've ever seen a film, you know that she's going to touch it and it's going to change. Any idiot would see that coming a mile away. It's not even close to foreshadowing. It's just a given. Neither one of them seems to understand this, though. Let's see. The knights wake up. They start attacking them for desecrating Merlin's grave. All of a sudden, the thing on Cage turns into a sword, and he stops one of the knights from hurting the girl because she's got the staff. She picks it up, and all of a sudden, it turns to power. And then one of the knights gets stabbed through the back, and boom, it's Optimus Prime. Purple eyes, but now he's Nemesis Prime. That's what he calls himself. Big battle ensues. The ship takes off and starts heading towards the surface as this battle is going on. Then this is where the fight with Bumblebee kicks into place. Now remember, Optimus Prime has been off screen now for over an hour. He turned bad, 15 seconds, and all of a sudden he was gone. Now all of a sudden he's there, he's a bad guy, he's beating up everybody. Him and Bumblebee getting this knockdown, drag-out fight. Megatron shows up, steals the staff, and heads to Cybertron while this knockdown, drag-out fight is going on. Bumblebee speaks, even though he doesn't have a voice box. They've made it clear that they took the voice box out that did, and it's Bumblebee's voice. And here's the Martha moment from Transformers that Optimus Prime, Nemesis Prime, who's been a bad guy for roughly 15, 20 seconds on screen, hears Bumblebee's voice, and it snaps him out of it. He said, Martha. He just said, you're my friend, and I would die for you. That's what Bumblebee said, and then all of a sudden, that snaps. Yes, that's what snaps Optimus Prime out of his "I've been evil bad guy for 15 seconds."
Okay. I'm gonna go get
So
a drink.
now-
I'll be right back.
now,
oh wait, okay.
Optimus
He's not done
Prime-
yet. All right. Oh, it gets
Oh
better.
no, Optimus Prime. He's like, oh, what have I done? And okay, this is Michael Bay. I don't understand Michael Bay's need for the Transformers to constantly announce who they are. And I can understand Megatron being a bad guy doing it. Optimus Prime seems to have to remind everybody that he's Optimus Prime all the time. And he's talking to the Knights. He's like, brothers, I am Optimus Prime. Okay, time one, I am Optimus Prime, and I will blah blah blah, and I'll do this. And then
Optimus Prime, I am.
Then they get off the ship.
Because I'm Optimus Prime.
Okay, the ship flies to Stonehenge. Okay, with everybody on it while this is going on. It flies to Stonehenge, and it literally hovers right in the middle of Stonehenge, and it looks like Excalibur. The ship, when it stands up, is this long sword-looking ship. Optimus and all the humans are on or Cybertron shows up and starts digging into the planet. Millions of people are dying. It's literally, it's like chunks of Earth are getting knocked off. Cities are being wiped off the planet. This is how big a deal it is. And it's just like, and then it starts draining Earth's core. It's cooling Earth's core, which would nullify the magnetic field, which would in turn weaken our atmosphere, and all these kind of bad things would happen. According to the scientists at NASA, who hear the plan, which the plan is for Optimus and the Autobots and Cade and this chick to go up to Cybertron and take the staff. And because she can only do it because she's Merlin's great granddaughter. The dude laughs. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm sitting here with physics and science, and you're telling me about elves and monkeys, and this is what your plan is going to be? He's like, I'd rather stick with science, which he does. And let's see. Oh, Optimus Prime had sent a call out for all the other Autobots to gather at Stonehenge. They got there amazingly fast because they were on the other side of the planet. But they all of a sudden are now there. The little girl is with them because she was like, hey, I want to go. And Hound is like, I'm not a babysitter. Hop on board. Let's go. So she goes now. And this is another issue. John Goodman obviously was not with the rest of the cast when he was recording his lines. And you can tell because his delivery doesn't match anything that's going on. And it just feels like they threw it over. It's like, well, we need John Goodman's voice here. And it doesn't match. It doesn't sound like he's really there. But that's neither here nor there because that was the same way in the last film. They go up to Cybertron. The little girl, of course, stows away with her robot friend. So now they're on Cybertron on this area of Cybertron that they have to destroy because this is where all the power is getting. This is the core that is draining Earth, and the staff is there. But Optimus Prime, who had flown off before everybody, isn't there. Now, if I was directing this film, we know Optimus is going to show up. You don't make 15 minutes go by and everything really go completely haywire before Optimus comes and saves the day, which is what this happens. It's like, oh my God, we know Optimus Prime is coming. Why are you making this last so long?
Optimus Prime?
We know he's going to come save the day. Optimus Prime is going to show up and save the day. Of course he is, because he's Optimus Prime. He's let us know 5 times already. It's up there. Megatron has the Quintessa's Knights stayed with her on his team as well as his other. He's fighting for Quintessa. Optimus Prime shows up, and he lands in the middle of all these guys. These guys they combine into some big thing. Optimus takes them down, and they're all circling Prime. This is in the trailer. You see it where he slices everybody's head off. Okay, he has a really cool line right here. He goes, "You obviously don't know who I am." Okay, cool line, right? Really, really cool line. Had it been left right there. Except Michael Bay, just like, what's his name from the X-Men director, from the original X-Men, took it too far. Halle Berry, if she had said, do you know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning, and just left it there and let the action just play out, that would have been cool. It would have been a badass thing to say, except she goes, the same thing that happened to everything else. Optimus slices everybody's head off, and he goes, I am Optimus Prime. We know. We get it. Michael Bay, we are all aware. There's been 5 films. We know who Optimus Prime is. Dude, there are people in Africa who have never seen a movie in the middle of the jungles who know who Optimus Prime is. We don't need you to keep telling us. Okay. giant, huge battle scene takes place. They use tactical nukes because they don't think it's going to work because the humans all bail out and all this kind of stuff. Tactical nukes knock out some kind of things. It doesn't work right. Everything goes into free fall, and now this physics-breaking, universe-bending fight scene ensues in anti-gravity, where Cade and this girl steal the staff and do superhuman things like slamming into the metal floors from thousands of feet up and not getting hurt and being able to jump right back up. I'm like, are you kidding me with this? Really? Things exploding for no good reason, and for some odd reason, there's always those giant sparklers, which there shouldn't be because it's Michael Bay. Of course, Quintessa gets taken out way too easily, just like every bad guy in the movie. Megatron gets taken out way too easily, but he doesn't die. He just gets kicked off into nowhere. So, of course, he's going to be back. He gets back. Quintessa gets taken out. Seriously, it's an anticlimactic thing. They pull the staff. Everything's all good. And everybody's down on Earth, smiling, happy, ha, 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 ha. And the movie ends, and then there's a little cutscene where you find Quintessa disguised as a human telling somebody, one of the scientists studying Unicron's horns, not to touch the horns. He doesn't like being touched, but I can tell you how to destroy them. That's where the movie ends. And I walked out of the theater after 2 hours and 30 minutes of this, and I wanted to punch myself in the face for actually going to see this film. It hurt that bad. I mean, it's just like, I understand the need for big action. But George Lucas, even though he didn't take his own advice, back in the 80s, when he was making Return of the Jedi, he was in an interview and he said, a special effect without a story, boring thing. And it is a boring thing. And, I mean, the Transformers, why do they dance around when they're fighting? Every film, they're always doing this little shoot, pull the gun up, and let me dance and walk around, step over humans and not actually step because that would be bad, and let me dance around some more, and shoot and dance. Why don't you just hunker down and just, if your weapons are completely ineffectual, that you can be 7 feet away from a Decepticon and fire point blank into his face, and he can fire back, what's the point of fighting? And dancing around? I guess we got to have him dance around. And then get knocked down and roll over humans and just miss it's ridiculous. It really is. Michael Bay, just stop. Just stop making movies.
Well, apparently he's at least stopped making these movies.
Yeah, that's what he said about after 3, and we got 2 more.
Yes, a Bumblebee spinoff and Transformers 6.
And I just wasted an entire half hour telling you guys that.
Well, he's supposedly done again after this one.
That's what we just said. Thanks for catching up.
But
wow, just wow! I can't even.
But why though?
Watching this movie, it's like getting screwed and not getting kissed afterwards. There are so many.
So I gotta ask, was this like a pre-release date thing?
No, it came out today. They released it on a Thursday.
The release date is today.
Today. They always release things for like 3 showings the night before. And then there were 3 showings last night. I caught the 10 o'clock showing last night. And I'm sorry I did. I could have waited for Netflix. Or Redbox. And then I can go back and punch the Redbox screen for a while. Why did you make me rent this?
Well, apparently it's getting trashed.
It's getting destroyed. Now, I will say, the Cogman, who is a 4-foot Cybertronian butler, is pretty cool. But Michael Bay, it's just... Well, it's not a big deal. It's just the word. The word shit is used like in this movie. Robots say it. Everybody says it. And it's like that episode of South Park with the counter. How many times can everybody say this word? And I'm like, you know what? People talk like that, but it's when you have the robots doing it, it seems wrong.
Yeah.
Remember, they've been listening off of the World Wide Web.
Yeah, but still, it's beneath them. It is. As far as and I use this word loosely or phrase loosely, story element, it does nothing. It serves no purpose, and it's just garbage.
The evolution of Optimus Prime from the first film, where he was a noble warrior who was looking out for everyone everybody. He was like, this is Optimus Prime, and I'm here to keep everyone safe. By the third film, he was a complete... He's like, screw everybody. You're all going to die. I don't care. And I'm like, wait, what? And now by this one, he really doesn't care. He's like, you know what? Kill them all. Just a jerk. It's like, you don't like this Optimus Prime. This is not Optimus Prime. Jerk. If you want to see a Transformers movie, go find the 1986 film and watch that. If you want to watch a movie about Unicron and Quintessons and Transformers and actually have fun watching it, that's the film to go watch.
I think I saw as far as the third one, and that's all I've watched since. I was like, I'm done. The first one I really enjoyed. The second one I was like, eh. And the third one I was just like, nope, I'm done. And I'm a big Transformers fan. Used to love watching it as a kid.
Yeah, the first one's not bad. I can actually go back and watch it. There are elements, aside from Michael Bay's... I mean, I don't understand the need to call out your own name. Megatron wakes up from being frozen for, 300 years. I am Mega... It's like, we didn't ask.
It's like, we already knew who
Nobody
you were.
asked your name.
We knew who you were. They said it earlier in the film.
Yes, everybody knows who you are already. And Optimus Prime literally says that he is... I am Optimus Prime. He says it like 15 times. It's like, we know.
Well,
everybody knows.
It makes sense for them to introduce themselves in the very first film. We don't need them introducing the rest of the time.
No. I mean, that line was blown. That whole thing is when they circle Optimus Prime, and he's like, you obviously don't know who I am, and he slices everybody's heads off. It should have been left right there with him just standing there looking badass. But no, they had to throw that I am Optimus Prime, like he's like, yeah, like he's a wrestler. He's about to jump off the top rope or something. Now I will say Frank Welker back as Megatron was nice. And he slipped into his old Megatron voice every once in a while. He tried to keep his voice similar to what they did with what's his name, Elron there. Why can't I think of that actor's name? I never could. What's that actor's name?
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, him. What's that actor's
Hugo
name?
Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. Oh, they tried to do a Hugo Weaving thing. He tried to emulate Hugo Weaving, but he kept falling back into his old Megatron, so every once in a while there was that, you're an idiot, that sound. When he's talking to Scream's head, because he actually holds Starscream's head, and he's talking to Starscream's head, he's like, it's a shame, my old friend. That kind of thing. My treacherous old friend, that you won't be here to witness the glory of Cybertron's return. But he sounds like
poor Yorick,
Megatron right there.
I knew him well.
Oh, man, yeah.
But like I said, exactly it. Like I said, it was like they took and let monkeys throw crap at them, and that's how they wrote this movie. It's whatever has the most poop on it, wipe it off, staple it to the next one. And it is so wrong all the way around. I mean, it's got, a 17 on Rotten Tomatoes right now? Or it did?
No idea. At least, though, they did get Frank Welker.
But yeah, but the question is, did it have driving in real time like the last movie?
Just about. Where it took 25 minutes to do anything?
So they still haven't learned from that mistake?
No. God. It's like, let's get in the car, and we're literally going to show them drive from here to there instead of using cuts to show the passage of time. Such a bad... it's...
Well, and that's how you get a film that's 2 hours and 30 minutes long. See?
That's exactly it. If there could be probably a good 45 minutes cut out of this movie where it would be completely watchable and extremely tight. And you could see it. It's there. A lot of the extraneous... I mean, the ridiculousness of the banter that goes on between the Autobots, the second-tier Autobots that are left over because he decided to kill all the good ones off in the first 3 films. We have Hound, and like I said, John Goodman, he sounds like a badly dubbed anime where they just talk over each other. And he does. John Goodman's Hound keeps talking while other characters are talking. I'm like, what were you trying to... is he really there or not? Because it's as if he's not really standing there, listening to what people are trying to tell him. He just keeps talking in the same gruff voice, trying to be... He's like, and it's funny listening to John Goodman try to be a badass. It's like, dude, you were Roseanne's husband for how long? You're like a giant teddy bear. You're not badass. I don't care how big a robot you are, chewing on gun shells. Yeah.
Wasn't there talk that there was going to be a revival of Roseanne?
Yeah, there is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back.
Isn't that one of the 7 signs of the apocalypse?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he supposed to have, I don't know, died?
Died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had a heart attack. The whole last season was nothing more than a dream or a fantasy sequence that she wrote for her book. But either way, I would give Transformers The Last Night a 1 star out of 5. And the only reason is because of Anthony Hopkins, because he actually is the bright shining star in this film. He's funny. It's so off character for him. I mean, he says, and it's funny watching him bicker back and forth with his psychopathic robot butler that wants to kill. He looks like C-3PO. They actually referred to him as the knockoff C-3PO in the film. Right down to he's got like the little circle thing on his belly. He looks like a steampunk kind of transformer. He's just a cool looking kind of character. He's a pretty cool character throughout it. Again, he's vulgar when he doesn't need to be. It's like, okay, we get it. You've been around on this planet for 700 years. You're just over it. But he's only He's no F's in this one. But he's just rough around the edges, and it's like he comes across as some upper crust Brit for a while, then all of a sudden he's Cockney back alley Brit, and then he's back to upper crust. I'm like, okay, pick one. Where are you? But he's pretty funny. The banter between them is funny. Fact that Anthony Hopkins gets to go out in a blaze of glory, being the first shot of the battle. He takes the first shot of the big battle at the end and shoots Megatron in the head. So it's pretty cool. But aside from that, everything else is schlock. And that poor Isabel girl, what a waste. It's like, let's introduce her so Squeaks can be the ugly Autobot that can sneak around and blow up some gun and thing at the end of the film. That's the only reason she was introduced, is so she could introduce this other character. She did not need to be there. He could have found that little Transformer and saved him and brought him back, and it would have been the exact same thing. She was a complete waste. It was a waste of 25, 30 minutes of the film trying to bring this orphan and make you feel things for her and then make her disappear from the film for an hour. Yeah.
And Marky Mark just needed a paycheck.
Oh my God, yes he did.
Well, he's got to eat.
Don't we all?
Like, I really hope things happen from Stepdads or whatever that movie that he's coming out with Will Ferrell. Because when him and Ferrell get together, they're pretty funny.
He has his moments. So yeah, we've blown nearly an hour just on talking about how bad it is.
Yeah, 45 minutes. It's almost as long as the film. Well, yes, if we cut out the 45 minutes I just talked about, it'd be an okay film. So let's move on to other things.
My brain got fried from that.
I'm sorry. Now imagine sitting through that. It's like there's only so many explosions you can take before it's like, okay, we get it.
My brain just shut down. 404 error. Actually, I want to check something out.
Okay, let's see. Well, we can do the Han Solo thing, is Alistair back? No, Alistair's not back. And Jim just stepped away from his mic as well.
Okay, so I just did a quick looking around. So the reason why they're still making Transformers films is because total budget that they've spent so far on these films has been $967 million. Box office, they've made over $3 billion.
Dear Lord, stop going to see these movies, people. No, I can't say that because I went and saw it.
And so yeah, anyway, I've seen somebody.
Even the fourth one. You there?
Yeah, you were talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. The fourth one was nowhere near as bad as the second and third one. I mean, it was still cheesy. It's still Michael Bay's Transformers stuff, but the second one is complete. It's like watching Batman and Robin. You just can't do it. And everything in the second film that they've established, even though it's like he apologized for it and all that, but they established certain mythos to the Transformers that got completely negated by this film.
Is that the first time that's happened?
No.
X-Men?
Yes. You know what happens to a Transformers film when Michael Bay gets a hold of it?
Same as everything else?
Yes. That's the title of the movie. What's the title of the show?
Half the title.
Half the title. Jim's back.
I just got back. What's
Alice
half
is
the
back.
title?
Half the title is, you know what happens to a Transformers movie when Michael Bay gets a hold of it?
What?
Actually,
The same thing that happens to everything else.
While I was away,
It explodes.
while I was away, I actually thought of a first part of the title to go inside what you're talking about, Transformers. That goes with our theme so far when Jim's on, for at least as long as I can keep thinking of these. And it would be, we prefer Jim Bray over Michael Bay. Or
Nice.
I'm not quite sure how to take that.
That's the title of this show, folks. You are listening to We Prefer Jim Bray over Michael Bay, or do you know what happens to a Transformers film when Michael Bay gets a hold of it?
Or no, the title of the show should be We Prefer Jim Bray over Michael Bay, or it could be worse.
Oh, could be. No, it can't be. It can't be worse. Oh,
of course it could be.
I'm going to say this out loud.
Transformers
I'm not sure if my
U-Bolt.
feelings should be hurt here, guys. God dang.
No, it can't get worse than Michael Bay.
Yes, it can. I just said how.
Oh.
U-Bowl.
Transformers
My
6
name,
by
just
U-Bolt.
having my name mentioned in the same sentence with Michael Bay is kind of harsh.
You know what? Someone should feed an earworm to Alec Peters that he should start making Transformers fan films.
Okay, okay. Let's put it to you like this. A wee little fella who's making a little fan, formerly a fan production, is more preferred than a highly paid director because he has more skill and common sense and intelligence and better looking.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I thought the last part was about myself.
Yeah.
Now I thought you were talking about me.
This was Michael Bay. The whole boob thing still. I mean, it was like every shot she was in was framed.
Well, okay.
Michael
Bay does. Okay, Michael Bay's last name starts with a B, so he does two things: boobs and bombs.
Yep.
He bombs in the box office.
But he doesn't. His movies make bank, man. That's why they keep making these.
That's the thing I don't get. It's all
because there are 13-year-old boys that want to go see these movies for the boobs and the bombs.
Well, apparently 2 of the films in the series by themselves grossed over $1 billion. So yeah, that's why they're still going.
I will hand him this. Michael Bay and his relationship with the U.S. government and military, allowing him access to shoot on military vehicles and use military vehicles in his films, does add a sense of realism.
Well, that doesn't ever really make him look bad.
No, he is very pro-military. But that kind of helps because, they're on aircraft carriers and stuff in this film. They're shooting on not sets, they're on actual military vessels and stuff. And military bases.
And they have the actual personnel, so it definitely gives them much more realism. It's like, okay, guys, we need you to go do X, Y, and Z, and then they just do it. And it's like, wow, those guys look good.
The realism so falls apart in this film because he doesn't even bend the laws of physics. He breaks the laws of physics. He breaks every natural law, as well as some I don't think we've discovered yet in the last battle scene. And I'm not talking about the robots because that's science fiction. I'm talking about the abilities that humans have in this film, what they are able to withstand. When I talk about falling from 1,000 feet onto a metal floor, I'm not kidding. These people just get up and brush it off, not saying, "Oh, well, my leg's broken," or "I'm just a puddle of mush." They brush it off. They slam into things. They're getting hit by giant robots and thrown across rooms, and they just stand back up.
This movie is so bad, we've been on it for an hour.
Okay, we're done. Let's move on to Han Solo.
Well, before we do that,
Oh yes.
Well, this kind of segues over anyway.
Mhm.
So I got curious, and as you were going on and on about that film, and I had seen folks had commented about, and actually one guy crowed about how DC films are doing better than Marvel films, and I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. So I had to go look it up, and currently, from 4 films, DC Cinema Universe has made $2.8 billion. In 4 films,
cow.
they've nearly matched the Transformers.
Wow.
Whereas Marvel...
You're kidding.
Nope. Marvel Cinematic Universe, not counting apparently the Sony ones. I don't think even Homecoming counts. Well, will count. From 15 films, has made $11.759 billion.
Oh my God, they are doing better.
Oh yes, Marvel though overall is doing far better. Now,
In the averages though, if you average it out.
Hold on.
Yeah.
All right. How much did you say DC had made?
2.865 billion.
Is that box office or profit though?
That's box office.
Yeah,
this is up to
you,
this
okay.
point.
Okay.
You need to deduct production costs then before you say. You
No.
Okay. Since we're working in billions, the total are going to be in million in point billions. So Marvel has made 0.783 billion per movie on average. DC has made 0.73. Sorry. So per movie on average, Marvel is just barely doing better.
Well, I went further. I mean, there's people who are looking for a winner between the two studios and like whatever. Wonder Woman's not finished yet. They're still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was like, all right. So what if I look at some of the other franchise things out there? Star Wars, for example, which everyone should assume pretty much safely that it's going to be just this massive juggernaut. 7.5 billion. And Harry Potter has beaten him out at 8.2 billion.
Has that been adjusted for inflation?
Yeah, I don't think that's adjusted for inflation.
Well,
because you got to remember, the first film came out in the 70s.
Let me see if I can find it here. I've seen it before. Let's see. Let's see. Well, that's the media thing. Star Wars is the 3rd highest grossing film series.
Adjusted for inflation.
But to be fair, Star Wars has such legs, that it could just keep going and going and going and going.
Yes.
Huh. Well, The Force Awakens is still the highest one for the Star Wars series.
But The Force Awakens was a failure, so says that guy that runs that Star Trek group that I'm in on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, with $2.068 billion, I think it's doing fine.
Literally one of the most successful films in the history of films.
Yes.
Also,
DC Extended Universe has not yet reached top 10 yet.
Adam.
Yeah. Yes.
As your co-host.
Yes.
I'm making an executive decision here. Okay.
Go ahead.
Who's getting kicked out?
When it comes out on like Redbox,
Mm-hmm.
the last night, we're all gonna go rent it.
Oh
we're
yes.
Gonna sit down. We're gonna sync watch it.
Oh
we're
yes.
We're going to record our reactions together.
Yes.
And we're going to release that audio file for free.
Yes, we are.
And Jim is welcome to join us in this pain.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and we will release the audio file as a synced file that you could watch along with and add your own commentary.
So we're going to pull a Misty on it, basically.
Yes. Yes, we
but
are.
It's going to be completely free and not include any of the videos. So
it'll just be an audio.
It'll just be our audio.
Well, since we're on the topic of Star Wars, and we've touched on Star Wars, the segue, very nicely done, by the way, Tay. There he is. He's still there.
I haven't gone anywhere.
Oh, you haven't gone anywhere. The directors of the Han Solo film, if you haven't heard, have been canned. Well, some reports are saying that it was amicable. Other reports are saying that Kathleen Kennedy fired them. Straight up just said, "You're done, go." Even though the film was set to wrap in a few weeks. So that's got to sting just a bit.
But they'd already scheduled reshoots as well.
Yes, they are, because I'm sure there would have been reshoots, but they're now directorless. Ron Howard is topping out the list of names being thrown around to finish the film.
That's not a terrible idea, though. Really.
No, it's not.
Kasdan's on the list as well.
Yeah, I don't think Kasdan. No, maybe.
Well, he's already involved with the movie. I think that's part of the reason he's on the list.
Yeah, he's producer. I think he wrote some of it.
Also, not a bad idea.
No, I mean, he's been with Star Wars for a long time, so he knows.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious as to the creative differences that caused Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm to tell them, you're just not going the direction we want Star Wars to go in, which I don't know. What direction are they trying to go in? Because we got The Force Awakens, which was a very kid-friendly film, and then we got Rogue One, which is a much darker film and ends on a very sour note, and actually could be considered very scary for younger viewers, whereas The Force Awakens I don't think can. How big was the creative difference?
Well, I will say this: if you look at Han in the original trilogy, odds are young Han some people would write him as a misogynist.
Young Solo don't give AF. No.
I know Gabriel Cohener didn't like the designs that had come out from the movie, like the
I
look
didn't
of
either.
things.
They look too Earth-like. The cars and stuff, the land speeders literally just look like old 1960s cars that had been kind of tweaked. They didn't feel Star Warsy, in my opinion. But I don't know what the final look would be, because they're going to be CG'd and all that kind of stuff as well. From the stuff I saw, I was not impressed. But again, I wasn't impressed when they said they were doing a Han Solo film from the get-go. I'm like, he is not a character that you need to go back and revisit. His character was pretty much perfect the way it was introduced, carried out from beginning to end. And we don't need to know what happened to Han beforehand.
Well, I will admit I'm kind of curious about how he and Chewie met up and got together and all.
He saved him.
Well,
that's it. That's
I mean, we know.
Expanded
Yeah,
universe.
I know, but that's kind of a shorthand version of the story. I'd like to see how it all played out.
Well, I know the EU addressed it at one point.
They did.
Well, sure they did, but to put that up on the screen would be kind of fun,
But I don't think we need it. I mean,
I
it's
think
just like.
Well, you know what? We said the same thing about Rogue One.
No, I didn't say.
No, I was
did.
excited about Rogue One.
When I first started, I was like, do we really need that, though?
When I saw who they cast as young Han Solo, I moved the movie to the back burner in terms of my priorities.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, if they'd done it years ago and cast like a Chris Pratt, I'd have been all in,
Well, heck, I moved it to the back burner when I saw the list of who they were considering for young Han Solo.
Oh yeah, I didn't like any of them.
Of the list of people they were considering, the only one that kind of felt like Han Solo was Eastwood.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And even then, that's a stretch.
Well, the kid they got playing him played a young Harrison Ford in Age of Adelaide. He was a YouTube guy who does Harrison Ford impressions, and they hired him as a young Harrison Ford. He looks like Harrison Ford.
Maybe it'll work. I don't know, but I know the whole process of casting him turned me off.
To me, the best young Harrison Ford we ever got to see was River Phoenix.
Yep.
He really blew it out. Really did.
And the only reason he got that role is because of his role in Mosquito Coast. He played Harrison Ford's son in that one. It's because he kind of visually had the look. It's like, yeah, you could be related. This other kid doesn't. This other guy doesn't look.
There was an excellent film too. That was an amazingly good film.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing Ron Howard come in direct a Star Wars movie. He's been on point with basically every film he's made, aside from Willow.
Yeah, but when was the last time he did a movie like that?
He just did Driven, an action film 2 years ago, wasn't it? The one with Chris Hemsworth as the IndyCar driver.
Yeah, but that's an action film. I'm talking about. He has. I don't know how much he's really strayed or has done anything in the sci-fi realm, unless you count The Grinch.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear George Lucas isn't doing too much nowadays.
He wants to do indie stuff.
There's an interesting thought.
How funny would that be? You know what? We're gonna bring George in to finish the film.
Oh,
There
would be such a
1,000 fans stood up at once and said no.
Yes.
Is this where we find out that in his previous life, Han Solo was a tax accountant?
I feel a disturbance in the Force.
Someone didn't file their W-2 properly.
No, they're going to bring Michael Bay in.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, shoot me in the face with a bazooka.
Gareth Edwards. Why not just bring Gareth Edwards in? Look what he did with Rogue One.
Oh, God,
He made a Star Wars film that not only felt like a Star Wars film, I mean, it fit so perfectly in that universe. It's territory he is very much aware of now, and it's time frame wise, it's just a little earlier, so.
Oh, all the beats were in place. Everything was great, man. I really enjoyed the hell out of it.
I will say I like Lord and Miller. I liked what they did with 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. I don't know that they were good fits for this film from the beginning.
Well, I guess they talked to DC about directing The Flash. Because The Flash has gone through, 4 directors now?
I could see them doing The Flash, though. Flash is supposed to be a fairly lighthearted character for the most part.
Yes. He's supposed to be the superhero with a heart.
And I'm not trying to impugn their ability as directors. I like what I've seen from them, but they do seem to be more oriented towards the comedy side of things. And I just don't know how well that would mesh with Han Solo.
Again, well, there were creative differences that caused this falling out. I mean, and to fire your directors or to have your directors walk away, to whichever one it was, that close to a wrap on a film, that's not only disheartening to the studio, it's disheartening to the entire crew and cast that you've been working with these. I mean, that is a moral or morale that is just like, woof.
They might as well hand it to Kevin Smith.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. Snoochie Boochies. Chewbacca saying Snoochie Boochie.
I think Kevin Smith loves Star Wars too much to ever attempt to direct a Star Wars movie.
That's why he won't direct a superhero movie.
You think? I was joking.
Well, that's why he said he would never do.
I love most of the things he's done, but they're walking and talking movies pretty much, and that's it.
He knows his limitations.
And it's a good thing as a director.
Well, that's one of the few positive things you can say, I guess.
I guess he's shooting a horror film down in Florida right now.
I thought he was working on the next Jay and Silent Bob movie.
Well, he's writing that, but he's actually directing a horror film. He posted an Instagram video of on set somewhere in the backwoods of Florida in the middle of the night a couple of days ago.
I know he's done a lot of TV directing recently. Like he directed a few episodes of The Flash
and Supergirl. He directed Supergirl as well. So that's the closest he's come to directing superheroes. He's already said, he goes, I'm out of my element when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I can write it, I can read it. He goes, I directing it scares me. But I could see him doing.
I've read some of his Batman stuff. Some of his superhero writing even is questionable.
His Daredevil stuff was good.
His Daredevil stuff and his Green Arrow stuff is pretty good, but Batman Winding Gyre is not great.
Yeah. But we'll find out in the next couple of days whether or not who they're going to have as a director. I mean, they have to bring somebody in. It's like this film is just sitting there. It's like, okay, every day that the cameras aren't rolling is costing Lucasfilm and Disney money.
Welcome to development hell.
Yes.
As a side note.
Yes.
Take a guess. What is the highest grossing film adjusted for inflation?
Adjusted for inflation, Titanic.
Gone with the Wind.
You were just looking at that page, weren't you?
No, I've known that for a long time.
Well, you're
Really?
absolutely correct. It's Gone with the Wind. It is the highest grossing film adjusted for inflation at $3.4 billion.
Do you want to know why I know that?
Frankly, Alistair, I don't give a damn. No, I'm kidding. You
Gone
just
with the
opened the door
Wind.
for that one.
Gone with the Wind is the reason George Lucas kept re-releasing the Star Wars films.
Oh,
Well, he didn't win.
He didn't win.
Because Avatar, Star Wars.
Yes.
Talk
Smurfs
about
in
a
space.
fluke, though.
Smurfs in space. Well, it's because all the
Dances with
tree huggers
Smurfs.
fell in love with that movie, man.
Smurfahontas.
Smurfahontas.
Dances with Blue Wolves.
Dances with Smurfs.
But I have a feeling it's going to end up being Kazdan just because he's already being involved with the production.
Probably.
Yeah, they're going to go in-house. They kind of have
Speaking
to
of
at this
directors that need to
stage,
be fired, Ridley Scott needs to go away. Or at least stop trying to make alien movies. I haven't even seen the film, and so many people I know who are huge fans of the Alien series are just like, what is he? I mean, no, and no. No, stop now. I couldn't even bring myself to go see it.
Well, weren't they trying to?
It's not saying much. You did see the Transformers one.
Well, weren't they trying
That's true.
to tell an alien story that where Ripley is still in hypersleep with?
Yes. What's his name? Who did District 9? I can't even think of the director's name.
Blomkamp. Neil Blomkamp.
Yes, he had a script and a treatment and everything written out, and it was a go. And then Ridley Scott
as if
jumped
3
in.
never happened. As if 3 never happened.
Yes.
And
yeah, Ridley Scott came in and he went to the studios and said, "No, I want to do Prometheus and I want to do this, and you can't let him do this movie because I'm going to be doing alien movies." And they're like, "Well, okay, well, you're Ridley Scott, so you did start this." And from what I'm gathering is you pretty much finished it.
because it was like 4 was trying to be an apology for 3. And
and then Prometheus happened. And then there are the Aliens versus Predator movies, which I'm guessing are fantasy. They're like fan films because they really have no bearing whatsoever on either universe.
No, not really. It was fanboy stuff from the comic books.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
While the idea was cool, the execution was horrific. But I'm guessing
Abysmal.
The latest Alien film actually negates so much of the stuff that Ridley Scott himself put in play back in the original Alien by rewriting the mythos. And it's like, why would you do that? But that's neither here nor there. I mean, when it comes out on video, I'll watch it.
Well, the
I just heard it was
original
so
ending
bad.
that was written for Prometheus would have put the alien ship on LV-426, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that would have had everything in place, basically.
Yes.
It should be. But they changed the damn ending.
Well,
and
that's why
completely blew it
Alien
out of the
Disney-
water, and they screwed everything by doing that.
That's why the new one had to happen, because I guess that it fills in those gaps. You know what? That always bugged me. If Charlize Theron had only ran left or right, she would have lived. She would have outraced that thing hitting the ground because she was trying to outrace or outrun the length instead of the width.
Yep.
If you just ran to the right, you would have made it.
Serpentine.
Yeah.
Stagger drill.
Now, speaking of Ridley Scott, what are we thinking about Blade Runner?
Trying not to.
You gotta finish the quote. And not to, kid.
I want to see it. I want to see it, but at the same time, it looks like there's been little to no advancement in the world.
No, and it reeks of discipline.
Like, why is what's his name's character carrying the same model pistol as Harrison Ford had in the original movie?
Why do some
I don't know,
people why do some cops still carry a police special?
Yeah.
Why do we still have the 1911? Sometimes they're
It's only
pistols.
40 years or so. Whole fan theory that
But
Harrison Ford was a
look
replicant.
at the difference in 40 years in the 20th century. You'd think in a
Yeah.
hyper advanced tech state like they were in that 40 years would be even bigger differences than what we saw in 40 years in the
Maybe
20th
it's
century.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of mentality. I don't know.
It's dystopian too, though. So
I mean, it was kind of cool seeing the Atari logo on screen again.
how freaky is it? The Atari logo shows up, and then Atari says they're getting back into the game. Literally,
it'll flop.
Oh yeah, the Atari box.
The company that is Atari now is not. They have no direct connection to the Atari of old, anyways. That company's been bought and sold so many times.
Just to point out, Wolfie, talking about, in 40 years, things have changed. The 1911 has been built since 1911, and it really hasn't changed. So, come on.
It's the same firearm.
Pretty much. I mean, they added a couple little details, a little more safety features, but otherwise, it's the exact same pistol.
And it's still...
Depending on who makes it.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
the
I was
fact
just curious.
that 40 years passed is not that big a deal with firearms.
Because I do like the original. I mean...
I couldn't get into it.
It's one of the... I think it's because it's very, very cerebral science fiction. And a lot of people were turned off by that. They were hoping for more of an action film, and it really wasn't. I mean, a lot of people, it's Harrison Ford, and he's doing bang up, shoot 'em up stuff. Well, there is that in there. It's a lot more in your head. And I think I liked it for that, because it was in your head, and I was like, okay, that's kind of a cool story.
Well, I liked Ghost in the Shell, and that was fairly cerebral. Maybe I should just try and watch the, was it director's cut?
Yeah, definitely watch the
there's
the
like
cut.
5 different cuts of that movie.
Yeah, you want to don't watch the one with the one with the voiceovers. Don't do the voiceover one, which I think is the director's cut, takes all the voiceovers out and changes the soundtrack.
Well, see, I've heard people say the same thing about the director's cut of Batman versus Superman, so that if you watch that, you'll enjoy it so much better. And I have yet to do that, but...
Yes, do that. It is, I mean, while it's not a perfect film, it's more cohesive than the theatrical cut.
Gotta get my hands on
Daredevil.
Copy,
Ben Affleck's Daredevil, the director's cut, is a infinitely better film than the theatrical release.
Well, it's kind of like Superman 2. The Donner cut is so much better. Well, no, the reason I say that is all of that Richard Lester stuff is cut out. And they were able to put it back together the way Donner had intended. And again, I'm not thrilled about the going around the earth a million times kind of thing, but at the end, but I don't know. It just, it seemed to be better constructed.
Yeah, it did. Lester came in. I mean, again, it was one of those shakeups on a film because they were more than halfway through the film when Donner left. So Lester was left with half a film already in the can.
They were shooting everything consecutively.
Yeah.
So what happened was he did something to piss the producers off, and they cut him loose. And all of this, but luckily there was someone in the editing room that was smart enough to scoop up all that footage and put it away somewhere. With the exception of one little scene, which is actually one of the audition pieces.
Yes.
That they added into the film, and it worked. They looked a little funny in it, but Donner prefaces at the beginning of the film, that there is that little bit, and if you're willing to accept that, then everything together. But they got rid of the whole Niagara Falls scene. Yep. They got rid of all the comedic nonsense during the big battle with the Bad Three, and it had more drama.
Yeah,
it was. The thing is, Lester was a director that did a lot of lighthearted comedies, so he added all this into it. It didn't ever seem to fit. It just didn't seem right. It didn't have the same flavor as the first film, and so to edit all that nonsense out was just such a good idea, and to bring Donner's vision back into it turned it into what it really was intended to be, and that's why I find it more enjoyable.
I'll get vilified for this by a lot of Star Trek fans. I would love to see Paramount, before the man dies because he's getting old, give Shatner the money and the time to go back, redo the effects that he wanted to do for the stuff that he shot for Star Trek V.
Yes.
and do a director's cut of that like they did with the motion picture.
Someone did an edit not too long ago where they kind of cleaned it up.
Yeah, I've seen people try to redo the effect because the effects in that film, whether it was outer space stuff,
were
it
crap.
was just they were crap.
They were crap. But someone did an edit and did some new effects stuff, and it's out there somewhere. And I'll be damned if I can find it. It went up sometime last year. They threw it up for people to view, and then after that it vanished. I don't know where you can find it.
Paramount came down like a ton of bricks on them, probably.
Oh, I'm sure they did, but from what I've heard, that it was a vast improvement over the original. So someone tried to make it right, But yeah, they should give Shatner the money and allow him to do his version of that the way he'd intended, because I think it would have been a much better film.
Yeah, there's stuff in that film that the other films don't seem to get. Well, where I always say Star Trek 2 and 6 are the best of the film series.
Mm-hmm.
Shatner's take on the friendships of that entire crew is so much better because he knows these characters and the way they would, and the interaction between Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, the interaction between the other characters, there was a family feel to that the other films just didn't have.
I love 2, and while the scenes where they're prepping the torpedo stuff looks cool, they don't make sense in terms of the Star Trek verse.
No.
But I know he said he was basing it off of like submarine movies.
Yes.
Which is why he's the first one to understand the 3D nature of space and have them rise up behind the oh god, I forgot the name of the ship.
The Reliant, dude.
Yes. Oh my god, talk about a brain fart.
Get out.
Give me 2 minutes to step from my mic.
Which Star Trek?
Call her.
Which Star Trek film was it where Kirk is doing a whole lot of bucket list kind of stuff? He does a halo jump.
That was Generations. That was all.
He does.
Yeah,
that didn't actually make it into the movie. That's only in the novelization.
Right, but it was shot.
Oh yeah, they did shoot it, but it's only in the novelization.
And I think that was kind of into Kirk's character to see that stuff happening, and to cut that out was kind of a shame.
Well, Star Trek is one of the few franchises that has dealt with the fact that its characters age.
But that's subject matter, I think, that needs to be discussed. You're looking at your own mortality, and that was all part of that story, I think.
Oh, I'm not criticizing them for dealing with the fact that their characters age. It's part of the reason that the movies work so well.
But that's that's all part of the human adventure. Coming to the end of that adventure.
I do think that the Halo jump would have been a better opening for Generations than the CGI champagne bottle.
Yeah, agreed.
That was just somebody showing off for some reason.
I don't know about showing off. I mean, they're launching the Enterprise B. I get it. It's unusual, but why do you need a champagne bottle? Why are you trying to maintain that tradition in space? It doesn't quite work the same.
All right, so I had to step away, but I was listening, and I want to go back a second to the Blade Runner bit because I heard Wolfie say one thing that caught my attention. Is like it was nice to see the Atari logo again, and that maybe that's how you know it takes place in a strange alternate universe where Atari is relevant. And then, attempting to destroy their entire fan base.
Apparently, the final cut is the one that should be watched. Because that's the one that Ridley Scott actually had mastery of it, or control of it, I should say. So, maybe I'll have to watch that at some point. Just so I can say, yes, I watched it, and I can have a good idea of what it, because I think I rented it off of VHS back in the day. And I imagine that was not a good cut.
Well, quite possibly the best scene in that whole movie is Rutger Hauer's speech, and he improvised a lot of that. The way it's written versus what he says is such a huge difference. Dead air.
Well, there was not much to follow up on that one.
Yeah, right.
Firefly has been commenting in the chat. Unfortunately, we don't have much to tie them to because some of them were earlier on, but Firefly, you're going to have to explain about among space real-time strategy games, Homeworld nails perfectly. What's that tied to? Atari, maybe? Maybe that's what he was referring
I think
to?
someone mentioned the 3D nature of space.
Oh, well, okay.
I
That would
did,
make sense.
yeah.
I've never been very good at Homeworld, so
Most 3D most space games end up ignoring it unless you're flying in the cockpit of the ship. A lot of the RTS games especially ignore it because it just adds another level of complexity to the game.
Well, speaking of the Reliant, I guess Thomas the Cat's been very busy. He just announced for Star Trek Line more stuff, more updates to the Constitution class ships and to the Reliant. Well, Miranda's, I should say.
How many more updates to those can they do?
I was about to say. I mean, how much more can you update?
Well, they are adding the DS9 hull components, which were slightly different.
And Soyuz.
They're adding the Soyuz hull components. They're also adding the DS9 paint skin.
We've only ever actually seen like one Soyuz class on screen, I think.
And it turned out to be very popular. They're updating the TMP Connie skin to actually look like the TMP Connie. They are also adding the No Man Has Gone Before
yes.
version of the original Enterprise.
So the vents.
Yeah, and also the little antennas on the cells.
Oh, the spikes.
Also, supposedly, if I read it right, it's actually here it is. Captains who own the Temporal Light Cruiser will be able to use the NX and NX refit materials on the ship as well. Meaning, we'll be able to use the skins from Archer's Enterprise, or at least the hull material on a Constitution.
I was going to say Anakani, which is like, what?
I always kind of like that refit because it made me giggle a little bit. It was like, well, we really wish it looked more like the Connie, so here.
Well, I mean, from a development standpoint, it actually makes sense that they added, and then down the road, the Connie will be the culmination. Although I would have loved to have actually seen them, do the Earth-Romulan War, and they press into service Daedalus class ships.
Yes.
That would have been nice. We should have gotten that season.
Well, since I missed the beginning of this conversation.
I always like Daedalus class.
Was this the talk about the new stuff in Stowe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did we talk about Discovery yet?
No, we have not.
Oh, well. It's got an air date about it in a picture of the captain of the Discovery. Captain
And everybody's
Lorca.
freaking out, apparently.
Yep. It's a reboot. Why has he got 5 stripes instead of 4? Dude, it's just piping on a uniform, man. But
reading too much into it.
It's like someone pointed out, the female captain may be referred to captain because she is a commander rank who's commanding a vessel, and you refer to those people as captain.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who it is. Could be a lieutenant, the captain.
Yep. But that's all it means.
Be some strange white-haired dude that you don't quite understand why he's commanding a Federation starship temporarily, and you have to call him captain.
What was the
Tank knows what I'm talking about.
What was it? The 24th? September 24th? Is that the air date?
I believe
maybe.
Yes.
I think it's the 23rd, and then the 24th is the where it's going to be on Netflix and stuff.
Oh, well, I thought it was what they're going to air the CBS episode, and then on CBS All Access immediately following the airing on the East Coast or the West Coast, whatever it is. Both the first and second episodes will be available on CBS All Access. Either way, am I jumping up and down for it? No. It's just been the whole the waiting and the running around, and it'll be out in January of 2018, but they missed the 50th. They kind of let that come and go. It was marred by the lawsuit.
They got started too late into the 50th to make the 50th.
Yep. Either way, when it comes out, of course I'll watch it.
Well, like you said earlier on Facebook, I just hope they get the music right.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they don't get the music right, it's all downhill for me.
Like I said, I think part of the thing that held Enterprise back was the theme, and I know some people like the theme, but it just didn't work for me.
Oh,
I like the Enterprise theme. I thought it was fine.
I know Jim wanted to talk Planet of the Apes, and that is a film I'm actually looking forward to. That franchise has been consistently entertaining.
I've found it so. Although I do kind of I yearn for the old days with the makeup and all that.
That's the only good thing about the Tim Burton one.
Speaking of apes, I was watching the Babylon 5 premiere movie today, and there's a bartender in there that is literally somebody in a gorilla costume with like a fake like leather armor on top of it.
It's General Ursu.
Urko.
No, the Urko. Well, Ursu was from the TV show.
I don't know. He's just a bartender that they show like three times in the movie.
Was it Urko on the TV show? There was Urko? That was the movies, right?
Yeah, Urko was on the TV show and Sis was in the film.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the play. I mean, those who don't know me, when I was doing special effects and stuff, and to this day, I mean, me and Rick Baker have something in common that he loves gorillas and apes, and I have always been fascinated by our cousins and in the animal kingdom, and the just the makeups in the original, and then the ones that Rick Baker did for the Tim Burton debacle that was, it blew me out of the water. I was like, wow, because those were, just gorillas, and then it was like, and then the new ones came out, and Andy Serkis's Caesar is just, it's on point for me. Even though I know he's gonna die in this one, that's gonna be sad.
Wait, what?
Well, wasn't it established in the originals that Caesar sacrificed himself for the apes?
Well, yeah, I just didn't know it was going to happen here.
Well, they've been kind of leading up to that. Even the trailers are kind of giving that away.
Well, I'm just hoping that at this stage they decide to leap far ahead into the future after this.
Yes, where we actually do
1,000 years or whatever, the apes live peaceably
until man comes back down.
Right, and that's when the Icarus ends, and we can keep your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
Tie it all together.
Yep.
Yes. Because I really have enjoyed them. I own all three of them, and while the first one was kind of plodding by the time it took, because I was like, where are they going with this? It's like so. This is such the beginning of the story. But the second one was pretty good. And
as a side note, Planet of the Apes does not even hit the top 20.
Sadly,
they're cult films, though.
No, well, they're not far away. If this next one here does really well, they might get over the billion mark.
Oh, I thought you meant the originals.
There we hope.
Worldwide. Well, let me rephrase that. Get over the billion mark locally. Worldwide, they've gotten over $1 billion, but they still haven't broken the top 20.
That's a damn shame.
Well, Captain America is actually on this list the last in 25 with 2.2 billion. So yeah, Planet of the Apes has got an uphill battle on that one.
I just hope it doesn't suck.
Oh yeah,
It's been like
that's kind of
every
the
other.
point.
It's been that this summer has been like every other film that's come out has been bad. It started off good with Guardians, and then Pirates of the Caribbean came out and wasn't so good. It was like Aliens got trashed, and it's been a cycle. Wonder Woman came out, and everybody loves it, and then what followed Wonder Woman was Transformers, right? That was the one that was next. Yeah, for the big Hollywood blockbusters, and that movie sucked. And hopefully, Planet of the Apes won't be, because we know that Spider-Man's gonna be good.
Well, as far as Planet of the
Hopefully.
Apes, I mean, they made sure to in the first one they made sure to mention the Icarus.
Yes,
It had launched just prior to the
outbreak.
just prior to the pandemic. So why would they mention it if it wasn't going to come up later? I'm thinking.
No, it was a little nod, I would think, but I don't.
At the
I
very
really
least,
don't
it's a
think.
nod.
I don't think they knew it was going to franchise the way it has. I think that was a gamble, and they were just trying to make sure that the
Right, but it's the gamble's paying off, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, you'd want to follow through on that, I would think.
Well, this is what, the fourth film? Yes. There's been
Yes.
Dawn. What was?
There's Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet
Yeah.
of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet.
And now this is Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
And yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe they will jump forward in time. We'll get Cornelius and all those.
That would be
But,
cool.
yeah, I mean,
and
it would
then
be.
they could use the excuse that the apes have evolved. And we
Dr.
could get
Zaius,
this
Dr. Zaius.
And yes, and then get back to really cool makeup and abandon this CGI thing, which
Oh, it's not Battle, it's War, by the way.
it's
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Which is, you know, the CGI is cool and all, but I really feel like putting makeup on actors would be a
Apparently, there's already announced a fourth film.
I don't mind the CG because they're actually, I mean, it's pretty tight. I mean, it's not, they're doing a really good job with it where they don't look like they're not really there. Certain films, kind of like the Transformers, where they don't feel like they're within the same space.
Yeah,
Whereas
there's
the
a whole
apes
lot of
really do.
uncanny valley there, but the thing is, I would just so much prefer to see makeup artists get work. you
True.
know, you
Yeah.
know, and you can sympathize, I'm sure.
I can, yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So how cool would that be? And you know, and do the kind of work that Rick did on the flop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Baker's work on
That was amazing make work. Oh my
the
god!
fact that he hid
incredible.
Tim Roth's nose underneath that makeup blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, how did you do that? Because, I mean,
Duct
Tim
tape.
Roth has a pretty large proboscis. And I was like, wow. But, yeah. I was like, yeah, check that thing out. But Michael Clark Duncan's gorilla was, like, insane. But, I mean, Rick Baker, when it comes to apes, he knows what he's doing. So, I mean, even though he's retired, I would love, if they were to go that route, it's like, at least have him consult or something. Because, I mean, his stuff for that was insane.
Well,
yeah.
the textures and the modeling in the makeup, it all was just beautiful.
Yes. You know what the sad thing
a
is?
wonder to behold. It really was.
Having studied that, when it comes to chimpanzees, their skin is very modeled like us. Orangutans, their skin it's a little thicker. They're more gray. There's some modeling and stuff. When you're doing gorilla makeup, it literally is flat black.
Yep.
A gorilla's skin is flat. I did not know that. It is a flat black.
Oh, I've been almost nose to nose with a silverback down at Busch Gardens in Florida. They've got beautiful silverback gorilla enclosure, and you can get right up on the glass and look them right in the eye. And I got nose to nose with a silverback, and it was chilling to look guy in the eyes. And yeah, I mean, it was just a beautiful job that they did.
Yeah, it's just amazing what he pulled off in that film. Not to say that the CG artists that have, I mean, that orangutan, I can't remember the orangutan's name in the new ones. I mean, the nuances they get into his facial expressions and stuff. And
Maurice.
The stuff, I mean, Maurice. I mean, Caesar's
He's-
eyes look a little
You know
too
why he's
human.
called Maurice, right?
No, why?
Because Maurice Evans portrayed Dr. Zaius.
Oh,
There it is.
I didn't know that. You know, it was originally going to be Edgar G. Robinson.
Yep.
He actually screen tested for it.
Yeah, he did. He did.
In makeup.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if they can get makeup back into it. I mean, we'll see. I would guarantee that Caesar doesn't make it alive. This film.
Probably not.
There's only so much they could tell of this story with him being the leader that is skirted death. What, 3 films in a row now?
Yeah, eventually it's got to catch up to him. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see them, like I said, leap forward in time. Maybe see a story about the lawgiver.
Yeah.
I think the lawgiver hasn't been touched on enough, and I think he's a real pivotal character to the story.
Now he's after Caesar, right?
Yes.
Like just after Caesar.
About 100 years after Caesar.
Oh. Who was now Caesar in the originals was the daughter of Cornelius and Zero, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, where they went back in time with somehow talk about a convoluted story.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, I mean the first 2 were okay. The first film was, I mean, it's just a classic. The second one
The best moment in that film was when they step out of the craft and they appear to be astronauts, pull off the helmets, and oh my God, they're apes.
Yeah, and then let's see. Then we got into Ricardo Montalban was in the 4th one, so it wasn't too bad. The Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
He was in the 3rd and the 4th one.
Was okay, yes.
Because remember, he was hiding Zira and Cornelius so that they could have her baby, and then he switched the babies at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just knew what was going to go down. He understood man's cruelty.
And they kept Roddy McDowell working for over a decade.
Yeah, he really made some hay on that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Even the TV show.
I mean, he played every orangutan in every instance, including the TV show. It was.
Wasn't he also in that
ambitious
80s vampire movie where he's the host of like a horror show or whatever, and the kid goes to him thinking he really knows how to fight vampires?
Oh,
Roddy McDowell or
God, Fright Night.
Fright Night. That's what he was, the host of the horror show in that movie.
Yeah, he was like the ghoul or something like that. But his whole little story as a B movie host was that he was a vampire hunter, and it turns out he really was a vampire hunter.
The Planet of the Apes TV show was ambitious. It was what, 1973?
It really was.
In 74. It was for
I've
the
only
time.
seen a couple of episodes.
Yeah, it was the early 70s. Yeah.
Was there a cartoon?
Yes, there was. It was on NBC Saturday mornings.
It was around the same time as the Star Trek cartoon, right?
Well, that was also NBC. Yeah. So they run consecutively every Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was because Filmation did both of them. I've only seen one episode of the Planet of the Apes cartoon. And what show was it? Was it one of the networks around here shows the old Planet of the Apes TV show late at night? And I've caught a couple episodes of it. And I mean, again, it was ambitious. It was different. And
well, what was interesting, yeah, definitely. What was interesting about the animated version was it took more of a from the original novelization. The apes were driving around in Jeep and stuff. They had a certain level of technology. That all harkens back to the novel.
I've never read the book.
Gotta read.
I'm gonna have to.
Isn't the book French?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a French novelist. Great, and the name just flew right out of my head. I had it on the tip of my tongue a second ago, and as soon as you said that, it went gone.
I think the book is Planet of the Apes as well.
It is, but it's
It
a
is.
title.
It is.
I can't remember the name of the French title.
It's radically different from what we see on screen. I mean, Rod Serling just took it and put an American spin on it.
Made it dystopian.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But you can thank Rod Serling for that beautiful twist ending.
You blew it all up.
I mean, I remember watching it for the very first time. We were at a drive-in theater, actually, and seeing it for the first time. And when you see that ending, you go, oh, my God. Because you have no idea up to that point where they are. You think they've landed on an alien planet that is ruled by apes. Until the very end of the picture.
Yep. I think
and there's that amazing, now iconic image that is just incredible.
I was 6 years old, and I saw my mom was at work. She used to work at a retirement home, old age home, and I was after school. I would have to go and hang out with her until she was done with work, and they had a little lounge with a TV and stuff. I remember it was on. There was a marathon on WOUR in New York, Channel 9, and I caught the last 45 minutes of the film. I think I was 6. It was the first time I'd ever seen Planet of the Apes, and it was like jaw on floor. I was like, what am I watching here? This is so awesome.
Be careful, Taylor. You may not like what you find.
So, I mean, yeah, it was like... Then I watched, I think they had them all on. At that point, no, they couldn't have had them all on, because I don't think all the films had come out yet. When did the last one get made? It was the mid-60s, 70s? 74, 75?
Ish.
Somewhere around there. So this would have been 78, 79. So yeah, probably. They were probably all on at that point. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing one much more than I was. I mean, it's like that's on my list of like Spider-Man I have to go see, Planet of the Apes I have to go see, and I think that's it, right? There's no more any big summer films coming out after that?
Trying to think. Nothing's jumping out at me.
Firefly posited an interesting question. By the way, is anybody watching the YouTube?
I have it open.
Okay, I was wondering if anybody was commenting over there.
We got nothing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Firefly.
Everybody comes to the Twitch for some reason.
Because it works well. Anyway, so Firefly's like, which makes me wonder, could a project today maintain the sort of operational security that would make that kind of twist ending work, i.e., the whole "you blew it all up"?
Yeah, I mean,
I think they could.
Right. The Force Awakens pulled off their ending and hit it well enough where there was no real spoiler for the reveal of Skywalker at the end.
Or the fact that Han, we didn't know Han was gonna bite it.
No, it was foreshadowed in the film itself, but we didn't get spoilers about it. No, I still say he's gonna come back as a ghost, Force ghost, but as a mental breakdown somewhere along the line. That Kylo Ren is gonna really start like losing it. But we'll see.
I'm sure.
He destroyed the helmet.
What we're going to see is the rise of the Gray Jedi.
I really don't like that going that route.
I know, but I think it's the direction they're headed.
I know that's the direction they're headed. You can't miss it. They're literally spraying it everywhere. It's in the Rebels. It's in
big
this
giant billboard, man.
Meanwhile, I'm just standing over in the corner laughing hysterically.
Obi-Wan the White.
I come back to you in the hour of your need.
Well, okay.
Go away.
Look for me on the
Since we're talking about twists and hidings and stuff. You are aware that Hayden Christensen. What?
You were talking about summer openings. Dunkirk comes out July.
Oh
21st.
yes.
Also, Valerian comes out on the 21st.
Got to see that too. I think Dunkirk is higher on the list than Valerian. Valerian, I could probably wait till video.
And Dark Tower is August 4th.
That's the one with Idris Elba, right?
Yes, and Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
All right. I'm a personification of the devil.
That's right.
Okay. Back to we were talking about spoilers and things like that, and I've been trying to keep myself spoiler free for The Last Jedi, even though I guess 4chan and Reddit have been ripe with people that are supposedly in the know. So, and I don't go there, so I'm okay. But other certain sites keep linking things. I'm like, don't even put it in the title. You clickbait people, stop doing this.
For real.
the Gray Jedi and all that kind of stuff, it made me wonder. Hayden Christensen was at Celebration. It's the first Celebration he's ever been to. He has a new film coming out. He's coming back. He's back in work, and I think it's a film with Bruce Willis. He has been spotted around other Lucasfilm things and other stuff like that, Disney things. And from what I've heard rumblings and some of the stuff that I got caught reading and not realizing what was, that there is a thing out there saying that we will not only see Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin as Force ghosts in this film, that they have a major part to play in that whole Gray Jedi thing and the destruction of the Jedi Order as we've known it, or the nullification of that.
Holy crap!
But why must we destroy anything? Also, Tate arrived.
Oh, Tate. But I'm just saying, with Christensen popping back up the way he did, all of a sudden it's like Hayden Christensen's in a movie. It's been 10 years, and all of a sudden, hey, look, he's back in here, so you can see him again. And I was like, huh?
Why?
It's like he's not that bad an actor.
He really isn't, and he's been doing films. We just hadn't really seen.
No, he completely dropped off radar.
Well, the thing is, I feel for him because he had some horrible dialogue to deliver. That whole thing about sand, he could have done without
not his fault.
Yeah,
no, that's not his fault.
That's when bad scripts happen to halfway decent actors.
Yeah, he actually did not drop off the face of the earth. He's had at least one film almost every year outside of from 11 to 13.
Were they indie?
Smaller film.
Jumper, New York, I Love You, Takers, Vanishing on 7th Street, Quantum Quest, Outcast, American Heist, 90 Minutes in Heaven. Now there's 2 this year and 1 next year.
So again,
Jumper was the last film I heard of his.
But yeah,
which wasn't bad.
That you heard, but I mean, he actually said he went and bought a farm in Canada, and he's been doing that kind of stuff. And he hasn't. He said he didn't stop acting. He was just. He wasn't going to ride the laurels that Star Wars afforded him when he didn't feel he'd earned them yet. He's like, I can't ride. He's like, I don't want to get the parts just because I was in Star Wars. That part could go to somebody who's a better actor than me. And it's fair. The kid has a pretty good head on his shoulders to know his limitations and to say, I don't deserve this yet. He got thrust into the spotlight playing Darth Vader. So it was like, okay, so here we go. But I just found it funny that all of a sudden, it's like you don't hear from him. He does these small little films. He does little bits in here and there. All of a sudden, boom, he's back in the spotlight. And he's got this coming out. And it's like, interesting. And then it's like, are we getting a guess who's coming back to Star Wars kind of thing? And they're just trying to, it's like, okay, put him to the forefront. Make Hayden Christensen a visual thing that people see again. So when he does show up in this, it's not that big. It's either a huge deal.
He comes back as a Force ghost in the next one. He's like, "What are you doing? No, bad grandson.
Just
bad."
bitch slaps Luke in the back of the head. Just
no,
snap.
no. He hits Kylo. Like, no. Go to your room. Firefly pointed out. He's like, we should consider the possibility that the claiming to know things might be shoveling bovine excrement.
True, but it has been confirmed that Frank Oz did do voiceover work. That he has recorded lines, whether that was lines for the upcoming season of Rebels or for The Last Jedi, we're not sure. But I mean, it's like, okay, but it's just like, when he was asked about Yoda, he wasn't allowed to say anything. When Ewan McGregor was pressed on whether or not he was coming back in the role, again, he wasn't allowed to say anything. It's like, that's basically saying, well, yeah. So every time an actor says he's not allowed to say anything, yeah, possibly.
Wait, you didn't respond with, hello there.
Oh, hello there.
I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous show or not. There was, because I had opened up a discussion thing on the Star Wars fan club on DeviantArt. This is just saying, hey, what do you guys think The Last Jedi is going to be about? And this fella who's some production work with in-film stuff mostly with like Knight Rider and whatnot, at least from what I've seen. It says that a friend of mine is working on post-production for it, so I know about the third act. All I'll say is we do indeed get to see Luke Skywalker go up against Kylo. Instead of father or son, it's uncle versus nephew. This is not a spoiler since the teaser poster at Star Wars CO, I'm not sure what that's.
Celebration.
Is this
Orlando.
Celebration Orlando? Yeah, already revealed the conflict. It's going to be super dark, very ESB, but even more intense. And the tone and look of The Last Jedi is going to differ greatly from The Force Awakens. Kylo is stronger and relentless. Rey is in for the fight of her life. Well, granted, I mean, we gotta take what he says with a grain of salt, but...
Well, I've heard that third act multiple places, like all over the fucking internet.
Well, I know they've been buzzing about Yoda being in it at some point. I know that during the trailer they said, "You see that little nub standing on the rock when we see Rey working with bracketing out near the shore there, and there's this little bump that could be Yoda."
It also
that
could be
moment
Darth
when a
Vader's
bump
brain.
isn't a bump.
Oh, that's Yoda. That's Yoda. Or it could be a rock.
I've
It
also
could be-
seen
yeah.
things like circled a spot on the teaser poster. It's like, look, Jar Jar's in it.
Oh, kill me now. Kill me now.
Misa called Jar Jar Binks.
That's
That's it. That's going to be the big twist. The huge
We be
twist. They're
sending you
gonna
through
do
the
it.
planet core.
Wait,
They're going to
Jabba will
Big
kill
twist.
Cinchi?
They're going to do
No,
Star
no
Wars his
Jabba
nap. It's Star Wars from his nap, which is The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi from his nap. That's already a given. The end of that will be that Snoke is being puppeted by an evil Jar Jar Binks from the get-go, that all of the machinations that have happened in the galaxy for the past 150 years have been this Gungan's doing.
Even though one of the
Pod.
Aftermath novels, it's mentioned that Jar Jar is just a
Clown.
Jar Jar's a street clown,
Thank you. Yes,
and
a
a
street
bad one
clown.
at that.
I read the novels. I
What
didn't
is
see
the
him.
perfect cover? It's the perfect cover. Play the
It
fool.
really is. There's
I mean,
that
the
whole drunken
mule-
master thing again.
In the Foundation series, the mule was disguised as a court jester or whatever.
The butler
It's-
did it.
The butler did. The Gungan did it.
The Gungan
No.
did it.
I have come to the conclusion. I mean, the four.
Misa
it's
Jar
like
Jar
every
Binks,
who's. It's
Misa
like
Sith Master.
Rey is Rey is not going to be a Skywalker or Kenobi or anything. Rey is Rey, and we'll find out that her parents have nothing to do with the Skywalkers or any of them. Snoke is Snoke. He is not a character that we've known or seen before. He is just going to be Snoke, and that's going to be the end of it. It's like those answers will come, and people will be like, "Oh, how come? What? Huh?"
Wait, what?
No.
Snoke is Thrawn.
No.
Oh
no.
my
No.
God.
I got it, Adam.
Mhm.
Rey Jade.
That'd be an interesting twist if they made her a Jade.
Well,
But they're
supposedly
they're
we've seen
rumbling.
her parents on screen.
Now wait, but you're talking EU stuff, and didn't they discard all of that?
So was
Yeah, and unfortunately, they discarded one of the best characters from the EU. Mara
but
Jade.
they-
is an
Karrade.
awesome character.
But they can always bring stuff. Can they have?
Wait,
bring
who?
stuff
Wait,
back?
who? Everyone talking, so I didn't catch that. Who?
Kyle
Mara Jade.
Katarn.
Mm.
No, I think it was Tay that said Kyle Katarn.
No. I said Talon Karrade.
You mean
Talon
Card?
Card. I've always called him Karrade. I'm sorry.
Okay, you honestly think the man named his ship the Wild Karrade?
Yes.
It's the Wild Card.
No, you sir are an idiot.
The Wild Karate.
That's official.
You
On
just
that
put
one,
the emphasis
you are
on the
Now
one
you,
syllable.
now you boys behave.
I'm like Kirk.
Seriously, the Wild Karrade.
It's like, yes, we're gonna call it's not gonna be the Enterprise. It's gonna be the Enterprise.
It's
Now,
All right,
now-
that's
Wild.
French.
No, I don't, mean to, I don't mean to sound like that old
Gerard.
lady that visited us a couple weeks ago, but you boys behave.
Stop it right now.
Sir, I have the means to people. I will kick you in a heartbeat. Don't even try me.
Card.
Banhammer.
Karrade.
Oh no, not Banhammer.
The Karrade.
Oh no, just kick, not ban.
Karrade.
I don't know why, but that's how I always
No.
read it.
They also
I think that's the other
erased
half of the title.
erased Kyle. Was it Katarn who was supposedly the one who was in on the Death Star plans?
Yes.
So, I mean, he was erased from continuity. But Mara Jade would, I mean, now, if they make her a Jade, that would be an awesome, awesome twist.
Well, that would be. That would be.
That would be an awesome twist. But, I mean, everyone's like, oh, she's Luke's daughter. Luke didn't recognize, no, she's not a Skywalker. She's not a Kenobi.
She's a Mothma.
That'd be good.
No.
A Mothra?
Mothra.
The other thing floating around out there that's been I think the other thing that's floating around that's been, I think before they even started filming it, is that she is the reincarnation of the first Jedi, which is why the Force basically flows through her so easily, and why she has powers that seem light years beyond what she should.
Except that Luke was the advanced himself.
True.
They've always been inconsistent about how a neophyte Jedi can use the Force.
Well, we always hear about in any kind of thing like this, we hear about the adept, and so that I love that she's an adept. Just it's innate in her nature. I thought that was so cool.
But so was Anakin, and so was Luke.
Yeah. True.
Anakin could see things before they happen. He had superhuman reflexes.
Luke managed
Skywalker could. Yeah, he blew up a Death Star using his brain.
I can kill you with my brain.
He thought it, and it happened. So, I mean, it's just like yes, she's. I mean, that runs the whole. Well, she's got to be a Skywalker because she has the traits.
I think they're just keeping a real tight lid on it because if that gets spoiled out, there's just going to be people who go, "I knew it all along."
Oh, I just hope to God it's just something lame. Please, God, not something lame.
I like the idea of Snoke just being Snoke and not being a character that was something we've introduced before.
Yeah, I know, but you look at Snoke and you go, "Oh, I want to know the backstory on this guy because he is jacked up looking."
True.
The dark side is really chewed him up because that's what it does.
But
he's not a Force user.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
Option 2 is it could be an Urso.
As of right now, Snoke, dark side user. Officially, anyway.
Well, that goes without saying, doesn't it?
And granted, it could very well be that it's just all in a hologram and whatnot, but we'll find out.
Now, the crap they're doing in the comic book still bugs me. That whole idea, the Sith's crap and
the lightsabers, you gotta make them bleed.
The mysticism they're diving into. I don't know. While it was core to Star Wars and always has been, the mystery behind it was part of the allure. If you explain too much, it kind of weakens I mean, in my opinion, I think it weakens it. I think if you kept it,
I would agree.
If the Force
I mean,
was
you've
still
got to
more
have
of
a
a
certain amount of
MacGuffin.
mystery. Yeah, you've got to have a certain amount of mystery. Some of these characters. What I would love to see, though, when we finally get to see Snoke in person, because he's always presented himself as a 50-foot tall hologram, that he steps out of the shadows and he's only like 4 feet tall.
No, I think they said he's normal sized.
No, he's supposed to. I thought because the puppet they have is like 8 or 9 feet.
I don't know.
He's not a short dude.
Well, we'll find out in a few months.
I honestly suspect that he's a moon or mun, however you want to pronounce it.
What, from the Outer Rim or the unexplored regions?
No,
from Munilus.
From Munilus, the banking clan. He very much resembles that species, which is the same species as Pelagius, but I don't think he's Pelagius.
No, I don't think he is.
Pelagius.
You can no longer yell at me for Karrade for that shit.
Yeah, it's Plagueis.
They actually
wait.
Plagueis, damn it!
Wait, are you going to tell us the story?
Get it right.
Okay. Here's the thing, Tate. In the video games, they say card. There's no video games, no audio.
I've never. Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis? The why. I never played the game.
I'm sick, okay, and
we all knew that.
Me being a walking encyclopedia of Star Trek and Star Wars is a little weak, okay?
Yes.
Larry Jr. is tired.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
Reagan
That's a band.
Sleepy.
Princess Leia.
Yes. Oh no,
Garth
no, no.
Vader.
Darth Vader.
Oh
Princess
no.
Labia?
No, that's not what I said.
I was going there.
Garth Vader.
That's a crossover we do not need.
No, please, God, no.
Yeah, it is. Although we've done our 2 hours though, so maybe we should
We
press
have.
ourselves over out of here.
Yeah,
we
we
should,
should.
yeah,
I'm tired. I'm not thinking right. I just forgot the best scene in Revenge of the Sith as a result. So yeah.
Has anyone ever told you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
No, no one has. I'd love to hear it.
That's not a story that a Jedi would tell. He was so
I
good
checked it
before.
out from their library and forgot to return it, so they don't know it anymore.
You know, Alistair,
And now I owe a lot of edits.
honestly, if it's not a Mun, it could be a Ha'an.
I think he's one of those. The being was it?
Did you mean a Powan?
Yeah, Pound.
It's one of the beings from the unexplored regions.
He's an Ewok.
He's an Ewok.
He's a shaved Ewok.
He's an Ewok in a giant human replica droid suit.
He's just a shaved Ewok. I say he steps out of the shadows and he's only 3 or 4 feet tall.
They just need a really big puppet.
I mean, think about it. They blew up Death Star over the moon of Endor and all that crap came crashing down.
It didn't.
You can imagine that some of the Ewok were probably pretty pissed about that. So it screwed up their environment. So
Okay,
here's
wait a
this.
second.
Yeah, except that the Ewoks are happy
Ewok,
because
who
they
was-
got to eat all the stormtroopers they killed.
That's right.
Sure.
I forgot about that. Oh, the stormtroopers you can eat. On down. God, I just
See
Yeah,
what it
I
actually
just
was.
killed the-
It was a hypermatter implosion, so there wasn't that much fallout.
The okay, I'm gonna jump back into Transformers real quick. One more thing that bothers me.
No.
Oh no 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 no.
What?
We're gonna be here all night. We're gonna be here all
No,
night.
this is real quick. Real quick.
Okay,
Star Wars
okay,
does the
all
exact
right.
same thing. The Death Star appears. Now, the Death Star is the size of a small moon. The Death Star appears within the orbit of a planet. It has been shown in Rogue One and a few others that it appears with close enough to the planet to basically be in orbit of that planet. A celestial body of that size and that mass would have its own gravity that when brought into, especially at the speed of light, the way it appears over a planet, would destroy the ecosystem of said planet quicker than the laser beam would do it.
Inertial damage.
Okay. They do the same thing with Cybertron in this film.
But the
Cybertron is
Death
literally
Star's
within
hollow, though.
Earth's
Doesn't
They're
atmosphere.
using
much
their
mass as
artificial
people think.
gravity generators to cancel out their mass.
Okay.
That's why I said
Oh.
inertial damage.
That's why I had a
Cybertron
real
doesn't do
problem
that.
with Independence Day too. I mean, that thing had its clutches on Earth, but somehow
Yes.
did not create a worldwide catastrophe when it touched down. I mean,
Same
come
thing.
on.
The same thing. They do. I mean, Cybertron is literally in Earth's atmosphere. Literally, they actually say it. It has broken the atmosphere. It's in our atmosphere and
doesn't
does
Cybertron
no
have an atmosphere?
damage aside from scraping. No,
And
it doesn't because
Piccolo
that's a dead
blows
planet.
up the moon in DBZ and nobody even seems to notice.
One, not the first time the moon's blown up in DBZ.
It's the first time that anything's blown up in DBZ.
See, because Master Roshi blew it up, and then they wished it back. Then it got blown up again. And then nobody thought to wish it back again.
Now, how come in the latest episode I just watched, gets his arms ripped off, and the dude did not beat him with the wet end? Just
I
tossed
would have
the
beat him
arms
to
away.
death with his arms.
Either
That's
way,
just
but
that's
we
just
should
silly.
We should end the show because I've been watching both. What is it, Kai and Super? Is that what's on right now?
Yes.
Yes. Super is the one where he got his arms ripped off just in the past episode, I think. Yeah.
Also,
Piccolo?
Also, apparently, although it's not covered in episode 118 of Dragon Ball Z, the moon is seen in the sky. And that's after it was destroyed by Piccolo. So it seems like it just keeps coming back. We got a regenerating moon. The moon is Doctor Who.
The moon is
no, the moon is in Doctor Who, the moon is a giant egg,
I was about to say,
remember?
yeah, it's like a big ass space dragon egg.
The dragon's just like, nope, put it back.
Their target audience for DBZ is people like us. Of course we're going to catch details like that, Firefly. Sorry. Because he said, to be fair, I suspect the writers of DBZ are fairly sure their target audience won't catch or care about details like that, at least on this side of the Pacific. I don't know. It's still confusing as all get out. And the filler episodes just kill me. I can't watch it because of them. But
Oh, come on! Piccolo getting his driver's license?
That was a rare exception. That is probably the best filler episode out of any anime ever.
I like the abridged version. You want to go drive cars? Oh, yeah.
Where did you get these clothes? Your wife.
I can't even.
Jim, you can be back next week?
Sure.
He's a recurring character this season, folks, until we decide
I'm a recurring character. I'm hoping to get a credit at some point.
So he's like BJ Britt.
We're not going to Lucy Lawless him, are we?
Yeah, we'll let him be in for a couple episodes, and then we'll just
No.
kill him off.
See,
I was going to say trip him up.
What's gonna What's gonna happen?
Oh, that was a wash.
Is he's gonna? What's gonna happen is he's gonna get severely injured, and then.
Yar! You shouldn't talk like that.
Would you guys shut up?
Again, with the severely injuring me and stuff, you're hurting my feelings.
He's gonna be severely injured, and then at the start of the next season, which is gonna be the week after, because we don't do cliffhangers, he's going to return as Death Bray.
Death Bray.
Da.
So, in other words, he's going to get consistently more injured, and then he's just going to walk off in a trench coat, and we're never going to see him again?
Until I'm a torso.
Or he'll be, Miss Bray.
Just
I am Optimus Bray. I protect this program.
Oh. Optimus Prime. Don't forget, he's Optimus Prime. Don't forget.
How long until we upload his brain into a cyborg?
There we go.
Yes.
But, so we got 2 recurring characters. Cast of 5 and 2 recurring characters.
One is
Roland.
I want the Russian.
Roland?
I want to be the Russian man bear. I'm telling you.
One is Jim Bray, the other is Wales.
Wales.
Okay, on that note, let's see. If you're listening to us right now, you can follow us on Twitter at The Geek Easy on Twitter. Facebook.com/GeekEasy is our Facebook page. And don't forget, Jim Bray also has his own Facebook and website out there, which would be the Explore the Outer Rim on Facebook. And,
that's right. And exploretheouterrim.com.
.com.
Just be careful when you type that into the internet.
Yes. And yes, just make sure you put Explore the Outer Rim, because any other thing with the words Outer Rim in it will get you to places you don't want to be.
Well, yeah.
At least not at work, anyways.
Yeah, don't do it at work. And if you want to have fun at work and you want to send all your IT guys going crazy, just type in popcorn.com and see what happens. But that's neither here nor there, and I didn't tell you to do that.
I'm afraid.
No, don't do it.
I'm fairly alarmed, actually.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Just the fact that you know that is
off the
disturbing.
air. I will tell you why I know that.
Okay.
Let's see. So next week, there's nothing big coming out this weekend. Right? Transformers came out. I just spoiled the crap out of that in this episode. And if you're just joining, or you're listening to us later and you didn't hear the first half, or you thought I was droning on and on and on, it's a 1 out of 5, folks. Seriously, it's that bad. Yeah, you got to go back and listen to the show, Tate.
Batman and Robin is better?
Batman and Robin is better, yes.
It sounded like a -1 out of 5. It sounded like a -1 out of 5, actually, but okay.
I think I would rather sit through a marathon of Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Daredevil, not the director's cut, and Jonah Hex.
Ooh.
Then watch this movie again.
That's brutal.
It is brutal.
That's bad.
Okay, well, I will. We'll be back next week talking about more geeky stuff. I'm sure there'll be comic book stuff and game stuff to talk about. And if not, we'll just make stuff up as we go. So
also, the Secret World Legends has early launch on Friday and primary launch on the 26th.
Oh, don't forget that. And new spaceships coming to Star Trek Online, or new models at least.
New models for old spaceships.
Old spaceships, new models.
So, new paint
without
job.
any further ado, I say goodbye. It's a new paint job. It's so good. You know what was a good movie that I really enjoyed? It was Cars 3. Cars 3 was a good film, if you like the Pixar films. But I'm not going to give you a review on that. I'll just say it's 3.5, 4 out of 5 for Pixar, because Pixar, yeah, they do good stuff. And
so it makes up for Cars 2. Got it.
It does. It makes up for Cars 2 a lot. It goes back to the roots. It's really
Hey,
good.
that was a great spy movie starring Mater.
Well, they need to hurry up and finish The Incredibles too. They really do.
Yes, they really do. And my son, yesterday, I think it was yesterday.
Time to wrap it up, guys.
Super suit?
It is time to wrap it up. But I just say it was such a good film that my 5-year-old son, when I walked upstairs yesterday, asked me when does Cars 4 come out. So he's ready for another one. So I'm done. You guys done?
Yeah, and now if you guys still feel like watching something kind of entertaining once we finish the Twitch stream, Super Reddit is streaming.
Cool.
And yes, well, let's call it a night. Say goodnight.
Let's raid him. Let's raid him.
Oh, no.
We
We're
will.
done?
And Tade, there's no way you could have gotten wild card to be wild karate. You added letters.
Wild Karrade. Good night.
Goodbye.